Finally, it's time. You've all been waiting for the answer to this question. Is this related to Wolfgang Puck? And the answer is What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is episode number 10. In this episode, we're going over hands from a 2-5 and 1-3 session at Agua Caliente, where I got kind of demolished. So all the haters are going to love this video. Shout out to you guys. Speaking of haters, I wanted to go over 2 comments that I pulled from down below. I don't take it personal. I think it's kind of funny, actually, and I enjoy seeing people comment funny things. The first one says that I'm a fish, and the second one says this is boring. Well, your comment is boring. And let's play together if you think I'm a fish, and we'll see what happens. I also want to go over a funny comment that I got recently, and this one, I have to read it because it's kind of long. I'm a professional who spends most of my time policing poker vlogs or plays that suck. That's how you know how good I am. You are in Beverly Hills, land of old white women, very true. $40 sushi rolls, very true. Range Rovers and somebody's Jag F-Type with vanity license plate and Lamboy convoys. Can't tell if you're being serious in this, but nice comment. Anyone who takes the time out of their day to leave basically an English essay in my comments, I appreciate you. Next, we're going to get into some serious things. The questions that I asked you guys to leave me down in the comments below. So we'll go over a couple of those. If your comment didn't make it into this video, don't worry. I'm just going to do like 3 to 5 questions every video, so it's not a long, boring thing. The first comment that we're going to go over has 2 parts. The first one says, what got you into poker? And shout out my best friends in Chicago, Randall and Reese, probably like 12 or 13 years old. And we all put in 20 bucks. There was like 5 or 6 of us. And we just did one hand, like we all got 2 cards, got 5 cards, community cards, and we saw who had the best hand after that. Totally random, nothing really to do with poker at all, but I ended up winning it somehow. I forgot what the hand was, but we gave all the money before it to like our parents that were upstairs having dinner. So I was really proud, and I went upstairs and collected the 100 bucks from their mom. So yeah, that was the experience that got me into poker, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that. So shout out to you guys. What is your big blind per hour win rate over the past year? Well, let me check right now. According to my poker tracking app that I have right here, it says that I have a 6.53 big blinds per hour. So I'm obviously not great, but I'm profitable, so that's important. And I'll go a little bit deeper, and I'll tell you what my dollars per hour is, and that is 19.78 at the moment. I had a couple down sessions, so it took it down below, but as of a couple of months ago, I was up at like $23 an hour. And I normally only play 1-3, rarely 2-5, although recently I've been trying to get into those games more. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Jared says, where did you learn to edit videos? Did you go to school for it, or are you self-taught? I went to college at Pepperdine University, just up the road from where I live now, but I did not go to school for video editing. I went for economics and German. But I learned to edit videos when I got connected with Vitaly. If you guys know Vitaly from Vitaly Uncensored, or from streaking the Super Bowl, the World Cup. His girlfriend Kinsey just streaked the UEFA Champions League. It was all over the news. He's a super cool guy, and I've actually edited for him for around a year on his YouTube channel with 10 million subs. That's where I learned how to do that. I also had my own channel that kind of blew up in college, and I was doing prank videos and stuff, so I pretty much was self-taught. So yeah, I never took any classes or paid for anything. I just bought the software, bought the camera, and just picked it up as I went, and I actually got a couple cool gigs out of it. So yeah, if you guys don't believe me about that whole story with Italian stuff, you can go check out Instagram. He follows me. You know, I think that's enough validation right there. I'm not gonna boast about it or anything, but I know the haters that are ever present on this channel will say, oh, you didn't edit for Vitaly, you don't know him. Okay, go on Instagram. I'll put my little tag right here and see who follows me. Type in Vitaly. We'll see what's up. Finally, it's time. You've all been waiting for the answer to this question, and here it is. The question right here, is this related to Wolfgang Puck? And the answer is no. At least I don't think so. My middle name is Wolfgang. That's why I put Alexander Wolfgang Poker. My grandfather's name was Wolfgang, his first name. I am part German. I have dual citizenship with Germany and America, so I don't know, the channel sounds a lot cooler with Alexander Wolfgang than Alexander in my last name, so you can dive into it if you want to look up my family tree and Wolfgang Puck's family tree and see if it connects at some point. Really appreciate that. If it turns out that I am, I'm sure I can get you a steak dinner here in Beverly Hills at Cut, which is his place. So that's the answer to your question. No, I'm not related to him, but as of right now, I cannot say for sure that I'm not. I hope that helps. Okay, in the last video I teased that I have a couple cool ideas for this channel now that it's starting to grow and we have a community of people that tune in for every video. So you guys can leave me some comments down below what you think of these ideas. So I have two and they're kind of both related. Those of you that don't know much about YouTube, once you get to 1,000 subscribers and you have a certain amount of watch hours, YouTube will then monetize your channel. So I actually just got monetized by YouTube. I haven't made any money yet, but you can put ads on your videos. You'll see all of your favorite creators do it all the time. That's how they kind of justify spending 20 hours editing a video, is because they make a little bit of it back just by you clicking on the video and watching. So thanks for watching. I'll probably make a little bit of money from the video. And that brings me to the first idea for the channel, which is every time I have a winning session, I'll use the money that I make from the poker vlogs, however much it is. I'll just take a certain amount of it and I'll Venmo it or PayPal or Square Cash it to you guys. I'll probably do like 1 or 2 people per video, and that way it gives a lot of people a chance to win it. Just to thank you for tuning in and me giving back, so it's not like I'm just making money off of this. Probably not going to make that much money off this channel anyway. It was just more for me to get better at poker, but for as a thank you for you guys watching, and when I do win in a session, I'll say leave a comment down below, something constructive, telling me how I could have played better, and then put your Venmo or your Square Cash handle right there, and then I will pick at random 2 people and I'll send you some money. The second idea for the channel is starting a new Robinhood account. If those of you who do not know what Robinhood is, it's a trading platform. I'll leave a link down below. You guys can sign up and check it out. But basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting all the money I make sports betting and all the money I make on the channel that's a surplus that I'm not sending out to you guys, and any other poker winnings that I think I want to put in there. I'm going to try to build up an amount there that I can just invest in, and you guys can tell me things you want me to put in stocks and keep it in cash. Now Robinhood has a 2% bank account interest rates, which is pretty good. So I don't know, I think it'd be fun to put extra money into this Robinhood that I make sports betting or on the YouTube channel or poker related things. If I win a big tournament, put like 5 grand in there or something, that'd be pretty cool. And then you guys can watch it grow and it kind of be like a bankroll challenge, a YouTube bankroll challenge. That's what we could call it. My goal would be to get to 1,000 right now, and then once that, maybe we can hit 5K or 10K. Who knows? Market could crash, we could lose it all, but that's the fun of it. Yeah, so that's the second idea I have for the channel. Let me know what you guys think about those 2 ideas in the comments below if you think it's cool. And if you want to check out Robinhood, I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can click on it and check it out. I think if you click on my link, you'll get a free stock somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 to $200. So yeah, if you guys don't already have an account, it's super cool, super easy to join. It takes maybe like 5 minutes. You can do everything from your phone, which is cool. So yeah, click on the link and you'll get a free stock if you deposit like $1. So yeah, check that out. Now let's get into some hands. I know you guys aren't here for all this blah blah blah. So yeah, let's check out some hands from this 2-5 and then 1-3 session at Agua Caliente. So we got 5 hands to go over here from the 2-5 game, and then we got 7 hands to go over from the 1-3 game that we moved to. So let's just jump right into it. The first hand, we have Queen Jack of Spades in middle position. I raise it up to $20 and get 1 caller from the button. The flop comes 7-4 deuce with 2 diamonds. I c-bet $20 and he puts in the call. I'm keeping his range pretty wide here. I decided to continuation bet as I do most times. The board is pretty connected, a couple straight draws and flush draws. Someone in the comments of the last video told me that they like to size up maybe just like 70% of the pot when the board is connected with those 2 things. Maybe something I need to take note for the next time. The turn with $87 in it comes the ace of clubs. I bet now $35 and he calls. I'm not necessarily putting him on an ace here. I'm putting him on a hand that connected with the flop. I don't really think that he's the type of player to be floating me on the flop. And I feel like if I bet the turn here with the ace, he might put in a raise. So I'm not putting him on an ace right now. The river with 157 in the pot comes the 4 of hearts, so it pairs the 4. The diamonds brick off, so I think this is a good time to continue betting and try to get him off a 1 pair type hand here. So I bet $70 into 157, and he tanks tanks. We're hoping he puts in the fold here, but he gives us the bad news and throws in a chip. I just muck. I don't want to show my hand here, so we don't get the information of knowing what he has. Just trying to get him off a one pair type hand there, and I think that's what he had. Maybe in hindsight I would have just turned my cards over to see what he called me down with, because I ended up playing with him for like another hour, 2 hours at this 2-5 game. Probably good information that I could have used in the next couple hands. With $400 now in our stack, we pick up pocket kings from the big blind. It's six-handed, and the cutoff raises to $20. The small blind calls, and now I put in a raise to $80 here. The original raiser calls, and the small blind puts in the fold. So we are going out of position to the flop with 180 in it. It comes 10-10-8 with 2 diamonds. I decided to bet $75 here into 80. I down bet a little bit, and he just puts in the fold right away. I think that's a fine play. I don't really want to be checking it over to him with 2 diamonds on board and letting him hit an ace or something like that. So I put in the $75 bet. He folds. We take it down. Not too exciting. Oh well. With $450 now in our stack, we look at pocket nines from the under the gun position. I'm away from the table, and I thought that the dealer said that I was the big blind, so I say just put in the call. Like, just put in my chips for me because I was walking back from the table. When I got to the table, I realized that I was the under the gun position. I would have liked to check my hand before I decided to put in $5 voluntarily, but I looked down at my hand and I got pocket nines, and I'm like, okay, this could be sneaky. People think that I didn't mean to put in money, but now I have nines, etc. So that's what happens. We've got 3 other people that decide to limp and complete, so we are going 4 ways to the flop. $20 in the pot. The flop comes queen, 8, deuce. Checks to me. I bet $10 here, and the button decides to put in the call. So we're going heads up to the turn, which comes 9. So now I get there with my set. I feel like he probably has a queen in this position if he was calling me on the flop 4 ways. I don't know what else you're really doing that with. So I now bet 25 into 40, and he puts in the call. So I'm pretty sure that he has a queen here, so I'm going to size up on the river if it's not too weird of a card. So the river now with $90 in the pot comes another 9, so we end up rivering quads. We are definitely good here. A little bit of overkill in my opinion, but we're going to take it because we actually get a ticket into the drawing. There's a drawing that is a progressive drawing. It starts at 100. If you don't hit it, it goes to 200. Pull names out of a bucket, so we're going to take that ticket and throw it right into the bucket. But we have quads here, so now the decision is how much do I bet here? Do I bet small and try to get him to call with a wider portion of his range? Or when I put him on a queen, do I bet a little bit bigger? I decided to go somewhere in the middle, and I bet $55. He pretty quickly calls. We show our nines, and he looks a little disgusted, but we're not, because we scoop a $200 pot, and we're going to go on to the next hand here. With $550 now in our stack, we look at 7-9 of clubs from the button. Middle position raises to $20. I call, and the big blind puts in the call, so we're going 3 ways to the flop. Flop now comes Jack 9-4, so we have a pair of 9s here. Middle position now bets $30. I'm going to put in the call here with my 9. Calling 7-9 to be folding for 1 bet on the flop. He could give up on the turn. We'll check behind, and we'll try to realize our showdown value by the river. So we're going to put in the $30 here, and the other guy puts in the fold from the big blind. The turn now heads up comes the king of diamonds. He now bets $60 here, and I think that when he bets twice into us here, it's a hand that beats us. It could easily be a jack. It could be another combination of hands. It could be a semi-bluff, but I don't know. I just didn't want to call $60 here with just a 9. So I decided to put in the fold here. I was hoping that he'd check so I could check behind, pot control, etc. Try to realize my equity by the river. But given that he bet the flop into 3 players and now the turn into me again, fairly large, just going to put in the fold here and go on to the next hand. The next hand with $450 now in our stack comes ace-3 of clubs. We're in the big blind position. Middle position raises to $25, and everybody now puts in the call. By everyone, I mean all 5 of us. So we're going 5 ways to the flop with $125 in the pot. Flop comes 4-5-5 with 2 clubs. Checks to the middle position player, who was the aggressor pre-flop, and he bets $75 now. His $75 bet into 4 other players looks pretty strong here, considering the pot's $125. It's a pretty sizable bet. We have a very strong hand. We have the nut flush draw on a paired board, still the nut flush draw, and we also have a gutter to the 2. I think this is where I make a mistake here. I think I should be putting in a raise here. He has a pocket pair that he bet pre-flop, and now he's continuation betting strong here. I could, put a lot of pressure on him here and then, build a pot when we hit our equity on the turn of the river, or get him to fold something he's just not comfortable taking 2 or 3 bullets with. So I end up putting in the call though. Like I said, I think I made a mistake here. You guys can let me know in the comments, but I think I made a mistake here. I just put in the call. I mean, it's not that big of a mistake just by calling here and trying to realize my equity instead of, playing it fast. But I think if there was a situation to play a hand fast, this could be it here. What are the likelihoods? He has a boat here, with the paired board. Pretty unlikely, I'd say. We're gonna go heads up to the turn. With $275 in the pot, the turn comes a 7. I check it over to him, and he now decides to check it back here. We don't have our flush, we don't have the straight here. I think a lead would be weird. If we raise on the flop, now we can bet again here on the turn. Maybe he folds. Who knows? But we are going heads up to the river. The river now comes a 3, and so we make a pair here. Could be good if we think that he has a lot of ace or king high type hands that check back on the turn after c-betting on the flop. So we're going to check it over to him here now. No point in betting, and we have a little bit of showdown value. We beat some of the hands that we just said. So I check it over to him, and he pretty quickly checks it behind and shows 7-8 of clubs. So we really wanted a club. We wanted a club bad on the turn of the river. We would have got his stack most likely, but he ends up turning the 7, and we river the 3. So his 7 wins. He's going to scoop that $325 pot there. Just a little bit unlucky from us. Like I thought, on the flop he only had 8 high. So he had a flush draw, so I don't know if he's going anywhere. People don't like to fold those things, but he only had 8 high. So if you put pressure there, and then when he makes a pair on the turn, we put more pressure on him. Probably calling again. But we bet on the river then. He's definitely folding, so interesting. But yeah, at this point the 2-5 game breaks. People just don't want to play it anymore. There was a lot of 1-3 games that looked pretty good. I think 4 or 5 tables. So I decided to jump into one of those. Saw a friend at one of the tables. So yeah, let's get into some of those hands. So I've got 7 1-3 hands here for you. So let's just jump right into the first one. Got $300 in our stack here, which is the max you can buy in for. And we looked down at ace 4 of clubs. So it's a $50 bomb pot, which means the casino actually puts in the $50. They have a promotion on Monday nights here at Agua Caliente, where if the team that's playing in the NFL game for Monday Night Football scores a touchdown, they'll put $50 in every pot, just for that one hand. And if they score a field goal, they'll put in $25. So there was a touchdown right before this hand, so there's $50 extra in the pot. Just a disclaimer, at Agua Caliente at least, whenever they put extra money in the pot, people go nuts. People will put in their entire stack, entire $300 stacks into the pot just because it goes raise, re-raise, and they feel like they have to defend it. It's crazy. So let's see what happens in this bomb pot. We look down at ace 4 of clubs from the early middle position, and in this hand it doesn't play as many bomb pots do, and it just actually limps around. So I put in the limp, a lot of other people put in the limp, and we're going 7 ways to the flop with $71 now in the pot. The flop comes queen of clubs, 7 of clubs, 4 of spades. So we make a bottom pair with the front door flush draw. I bet $20 now here. I just want to build the size of the pot up here in case we make a better hand on the turn of the river. And a lot of people aren't going to be folding. Like I said, they get really sticky in these bomb pots. So I just want to put in $20 here. I think a better line looking back is just check calling or check raising, something like that. Not betting, really small. That's what we do. And we get a call just from the middle position player. Okay. Turn with $151. Now in the pot comes the 8 of diamonds. I bet $52 here because we end up making 2 pair on the turn. 52 into 151, I think that's a pretty fair 1/3 type size type bet. A lot of you are going to say bet bigger. Okay, I can do that next time. But I bet $52 here, and he just puts in the fold, so we scoop a $203 pot. Not a bad way to be welcomed to the table.
Nope. He was all over him.
He was, look at that.
We are up to $375 now from our $300 buy-in. We look down a 9 of hearts, 9 of diamonds from the under the gun position. This is a very interesting hand, so you're going to want to pay attention to this. I raised to $12 from under the gun, and we get 4 callers. Flop with 5 people in it comes king, jack, 8 with all hearts. We have the 9 of hearts in our hand, which is important, but it's not the best. There's obviously a queen, a 10, or an ace of hearts. If people have that in their hand, they're drawing to a better flush than us, so we're going to play very cautiously here. I bet $12 here. Middle position raises to $36, and only I make the call here. The turn with $132 in the pot comes the 10 of hearts. So that's one of the hearts above us that takes out other hearts in other people's ranges. So now we have ace, king, queen, jack, 10. We have the 6 nuts, we have the 9 of hearts, but now there's only an ace or a queen that could be in someone else's hand that has us beat. So I decided to do something unconventional here and I block lead. Instead of checking over to him and he checks back or he bets big, I just decided to bet $52 here into 132. He pretty quickly decides to put in the raise here, which I think is really weird. I think if he had the queen of hearts, he would just be calling here. I think an ace of hearts could also just call here, and then when I check it to him on the river, he could just put in a bet on his own. He's in position, so that's why I think it's weird that he raised here. What is he trying to get value from when he's raising to 150? But either way though, there's 2 cards out there that beat me, and you know, people play weird. People don't always play like I think that they would play or how I would play. If I had a queen of hearts or an ace of hearts, I wouldn't be raising here. So I have really no idea what he's doing. It's not a paired board. You're not going to be raising a straight here. So the only thing that he's trying to say is that he has like the ace of hearts and he's raising for value here. Other than that, you know, I don't really think I can be putting in the call here because I think that he has me covered also. So I think that on the river he's just going to be putting my stack in if he's bluffing, and putting his stack in if he's not bluffing. You know, he's got to keep it balanced. So I put in the fold and show him my 9 of hearts. He ends up saying, like right as I'm mucking, "Are you Wolfgang?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I just got recommended your video today from YouTube. I was watching your videos today and they're good." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great, but like show me a card that beats me here. Show me the ace of hearts." He shows me an ace of clubs, and he shows me a 5 of clubs. So he completely bluffed me. He got onto the vlog. Shout out to you. Good bluff there. I think he's only repping like an ace of hearts in that situation or a bluff. So I guess this was the bluff, you know, but I don't know. Should I be calling down there with the 9 of hearts? I was leading on the turn to block, so I'm obviously like scared of, you know, the queen of hearts or ace of hearts. I'm not really sure, but nice hand there, sir. And if you're watching this video, thank you very much. On to the next hand.
Did you move me here on that turn?
Yes.
I decided to top up an extra 80 bucks here because I was down to 220 after the hand. So now I'm up to $300 again. And we look down at ace 4 of diamonds from the big blind. There's 5 limps to me, and I raise it up to $20, and we only get 3 callers. So we are going 4 ways to the flop with $80 in it, which comes 4 of clubs, 4 of hearts, 10 of clubs. So we flop trips here. This is going to be really hard for someone to think that we have a 4 in our range. The only one that they could really put us on is ace 4. We 3-bet people pre-flop to a decent amount, which, you know, a lot of people don't do at Agua in the 1-3 games. So it's going to be really hard for people to think that we have a 4 here. Small blind now leads into me for $30, which I think is really weird here. Although if I am trying to put him on a hand, I think a lot of people would do that with clubs. They try to get people to fold, and then if they end up hitting clubs, then it's kind of like disguised because they're betting into this, whatever. I think it's clubs. If he has a 4, great. You know, I'm dominating that all day here. I just do not want a club to come on a turn here. I think a lot of people would be putting in a raise here, but I just decided to put in the call because I'm trying to only fade a club. So if I just get a clean card on the turn, then I can just proceed there and raise on the turn with only 1 card to come. If I put in the raise here on the flop, I fold out the person behind me most likely, which I can get him to put in money if I just call. And also, people in this game aren't really going to be folding flush draws too often. I'd have to make a huge raise like for his entire stack, which I just don't want to do. So I decided to put in the call, trying to bring in the person behind me, which is a friend, and that person actually does put in the call. So we are going 3 ways to the turn here. The $170 in the pot. We just need to fade a club here on the turn, but that is not what happens. The turn comes the king of clubs. Pretty sure one of these 2 people have a flush in their hand. I think, you know, with 2 people calling, we're 4 ways to the flop, all that kind of stuff. There's a good chance that someone here at least has a good club in their hand, if not 2. So we're going to play this pretty slow now. Small blind bets $40 into 170. Can't fold, you know, there's only 3 clubs on board. Even if we're behind, you know, we could boat up on the river, and maybe people slow down on the river. So we just have to call one more time here. So I put in the call, and middle position also puts in the call. So really not liking this here. A lot of alarm bells are going off. Someone could easily have the ace-high flush or another kind of flush in that situation. But either way, we're going 3 ways to the river, which comes the jack of clubs. If things weren't worse enough, they just got way worse. Any high club or any club in general beats us because we just have trip 4s with no club. terrible situation. We're going to be having to fold here, you know, all the time. Small blind bets $50 here. I don't know. He's going 30, 40, 50. Really weird bet sizing, but I can't do anything about it with no club in my hand. I put in the fold, and middle position calls with ace-3 of clubs. So he made the club flush on the turn right away, and then just improved on the river if someone had, you know, like a queen of clubs or something like that. Small blind turns over queen of clubs, 10 of spades. So he made top pair on the flop, and then picked up a club draw on the turn, and then ended up making the second nuts on the river. Just unfortunate for both of those guys, and really unfortunate for me. What am I talking about? Because I flopped, you know, the world there with my trip fours. But we end up losing that pot there. It's around $390 there that we could have won, but oh well, that's poker. On to the next hand.
Probably got a club.
Clap.
Yeah, I have it too.
Flash.
No, it's like, oh, he's out.
Next hand with $200 in our stack, we look down at 9-10 of clubs from the button. Another vlog watcher here in middle position. I won't say your names, I'm not sure if you want to be on the vlog yet, but he raises to $10, and there are two callers, and I end up putting in the call here as well. So we're going four ways to the flop, which comes 10-6-3 with one club. So we have the backdoor club draw, and we also have top pair with the 9 kicker. Pretty decent. Obviously four ways, you have to be hesitant, but you know, we're in a good situation so far. Vlog watcher bets $12 from middle position, folds to me, and I raise it up to $35 here. I just want to figure out where I'm at. I don't know if this is a good raise, but I just raise it up to $35 here, and he puts in the call. With 114 in the pot, the turn comes the king of diamonds. He checks it over to me here, and I check back behind. That's part of the advantage to raising on the flop. I can see all 5 cards. By doing that, most time people aren't going to be donking into a flop raise, so he doesn't do that, and comes to the river. The river with 114 in it comes a 4. He leads out now for $40, and I think that this is just value all day here. There's no point in leading here as a bluff, really. I mean, maybe Jack Queen, but that already got there. I don't know. He bets $40 here, and I should be folding this. I don't know why I ended up putting in the call, but that is what I do. And he shows pocket 10, so we hit the case 10 on the flop, and he's going to scoop that pot there. Nice hand, sir. But I think that I just need to be folding that river. I think your lead on the river is too strong, and I shouldn't be in that hand anymore. Oh well, on to the next one. 110 now on our stack. We're just bleeding chips here. I'm not in the mood to top up here. I told myself I'm just going to play this round, play it a little bit looser, try to run up a stack here, but if not, if I bust, I'll just go home. It's one of those kind of moods, and I have Jack 8 of hearts from the cutoff. Middle position now raises to $10, and there are 2 callers, so I end up putting the call as well. Jack 8, you know, we only got to call another like $7. Oh well. Flop comes King Jack 7, 2 spades and 1 heart. Checks the late middle position, who bets $14, and with my backdoor heart draw and my middle pair, I'm going to be putting the call every day here with that. So I put in the call, small blind calls, middle position now raises to $40. There's a tighter player here, so that's something to keep in note for the next thing that I do. The initial better puts in the fold here after betting the flop, and I now go all in for $71. I think that I'm just going to go with this hand here. I have the backdoor hearts, I have a middle pair. He probably has a king here all day, so I could just be calling or folding and then calling with the hopes of improving on the turn of the river. I'm just not in the mood. I just put my entire stack in there. I already put in $14, and now he put in 40. So if I put in the 40, I'd only have another 30 behind, $31. So I just put in the entire stack of $71. I know it's a losing play. You don't need to tell me in the comments. I know it's a losing play. And everybody folds except for the guy who raises. He looks at me and he just puts in the call. I mean, he's not going to fold for another $31 more. That'd be pretty stupid. With 208 in the pot, the turn comes the 8 of clubs. So I end up getting there hopefully with my 2 pair, and the river comes the queen of hearts. We show Jack 8 for 2 pair, and we're good against a supposed king. So that's kind of what we put him on, and you know, we just decided to put our stack in there and got lucky. Going for runner hearts, or we're going for a jack or an 8. Those were our only outs at the moment. So yeah, we scooped that pot, and now we're up to $208.
You're officially gonna put him on tilt.
And this is a no whining table too.
$175 now in our stack. We look down at 7 of spades, 8 of hearts from the big blind. We got 5 limps to me, and I just decided to check my option here. The flop now comes 6 of diamonds, 5 of spades, 6 of clubs. So we on a paired board we flop the open-ended straight draw here. Checks to the undergun position, he bets $20 and I put in the call here. Pretty standard, I think. The turn with $58 in it comes a 10 of diamonds and it goes check, check. Okay. The river now comes 9 of hearts, so we have the best straight possible. It still is a paired board, but I don't know, getting a straight on the river given the action on the turn seems pretty good here. So I'm going to be leading out here for a bet. I think that that's the appropriate thing to do. I bet $55 into $58, sizing up here, just trying to get called by trips. Trying to get called by things that we have beat, but that want to call down a fairly large bet. Now my friend in this hand, who I've been playing heads up with, decides to jam all in for $122. So that's a little strange, but given that he's my friend, I thought that there could be a chance that he's just trying to bluff me, get on the vlog, etc., make a play here. Against other people, I'd probably just be putting in a fold because river raises and river all-ins are hardly ever bluffs, especially at the 1-3 games. Given that he's my friend though, I just decided to put in the call. If I lose, you know, it's going to a good place. If I win, you know, it's going to a better place. But I put in the call and he shows pocket 9, so he rivered a boat. It's pretty dirty. I show my hand and he laughs about it. You know, we're all good. We're friends. Nothing bad there. Nice river there, guy. You know, yeah, keep up that river rat hunting.
The worst card on the river you could have. Makes it straight and makes it
God damn, Alex.
Nice hand. Nice hand. Last hand we have $43 in our stack after that bad call on the river. In the last hand, I have pocket 3s on the button. There's a couple of limps, and the guy that I beat with the jack-8 of heart hand decides to raise it up to $14. My pocket pair here, I'm just getting pretty tired of playing. I could leave with my 43 bucks, but that's no fun. So I jam my $43 into the middle. He puts in the call, and as you can see from the graphics, he picks up that pot, beating out our pocket 3s with his better hand. So we end up losing 380 at the 1-3 game, and we end up losing 114 in the 2-5 game. So around a $500 loss in these 2 games here in like 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, so haters, enjoy this. I finally lost the hand. I don't run pure, as all of you said. So not the best session, but there's a lot of things that we can always learn from every session that we play. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. Helps out the channel a ton. Also subscribe. That also helps the channel out a ton, and that way you'll get notified when I post the next video. If you guys want to make it onto my next video, leave a funny comment down below, and I'll try to screenshot the funniest ones and incorporate them into my intros. But until then, good luck on the tables. I hope you guys run really well, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace! Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.